Welcome out, ladies and gentlemen, to the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, as we are ready to get into our next set of games. We're going to have INnoVation going up against GuMiho, the only TVT that's going to be going on in this group. And then lots and lots of Zerg versus Zerg. We do have Todd, we have Rotterdam here at the desk at the battle station to bring you all of the updates going on. However, we haven't been invited to our games yet, so we're going to have to wait a little while. Yeah.
That's okay. We're here to talk, we're here to entertain, and I guess we can just do that. Very impressed by Cyril. That last series, like, he shows up, he delivers. I'm one of those guys that's like almost a little too easy to get skeptical. So last year when he was like posting a lot of good results, I was like, can he really keep this up? You know, then he wins his 4th WCS circuit tournament. The global finals, I'm like, it's too good to be true. Like, there's no way he's gonna perform well. Wins the whole thing. Now we're in a new year, and I'm like, all right, this has gone on for long enough. Like, at some point, he's kind of bound to start playing worse, maybe fall off a little bit. No. He made Rogue look like Bly, I want to say. Like,
change.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
He made Rogue look like he was an easy matchup, and Rogue shouldn't be an easy matchup for anybody.
It was really impressive. I mean, we are sitting here and we're all like a little jiggly and a little nervous because on the other end, like, if Cyril does finally drop a series, I mean, that doesn't mean he's going to be eliminated from the tournament.
Of course.
But even that will be something that's almost like a bitter pill to swallow, because I've joked about it before, but it's like the one consistency in my life is that Cyril always wins. It's like a cornerstone of my foundation. So if he does suddenly lose, that's going to be kind of sad in a weird way, even though everybody obviously loses in StarCraft. But you're a couple minutes in, and then suddenly you just see Cyril do several things. He's just like, yeah, actually everything is still all right in this world. It's ridiculous. And I don't think Rogue played poor at all. It's just, it just keeps on going. That first game, Port Alexander, they start battling, and 4.5 minutes later, they're still battling Lynx and Banes, and at one point you're like, yeah, actually, you know, every now and then you watch some Protoss games, you're like, you know, I think I can put my observers there, and I can have a couple stalkers, and I watch the Link Bane phase, I'm like, yeah, get out of here. Like, come on, it's ridiculous.
So let's talk about this TVT here as INnoVation goes up against GuMiho. Both of these players are in a very, almost must-win situation already in this group somehow, because they both lost their first series here in this group, Todd.
Yeah, and we saw yesterday, even like down to one single map difference can change everything. In the case of Special, which if he had won one more map against Stats, he would have actually been through. So yeah, very important here to score a win. Both of them are incredible in Mirror. Like, they've had some epic series in the past in those TVTs. They both can play mech, they can play bio. So I'm really excited for this one. But yeah, like, we get right into the thick of things here. It's not like, you know, those big groups that we get sometimes of like 12 players and you have to wait for a long time for things to actually really matter. No. It's already like, it feels like life or death in a tournament from the second matchup here in this group.
Roddy, your thoughts?
Yeah, especially because I do think there are some groups where you can maybe turn an 0-2 deficit still around, because there are even some weird ways where you can advance with a record of 2 wins and 3 losses. This did happen in the past with this format. The problem is Cyril's in this group as well. So if you start 0-2 and then you still have to play Cyril as well, and even Rogue for both these guys, yeah, that's where it becomes pretty much borderline impossible. Johan mentioned they've had a lot of epic TVT series in the past. I looked up the numbers real quick. Historically, it's actually pretty insane. GuMiho has a winning record over INnoVation, but it's 19-16 in series, so that's very close.
That's a low series.
Map-wise, 51-49. I mean, that's pretty epic. They played exactly 100 official games against each other, and it's 51-49 in favor of GuMiho.
That's impressive. That is really impressive. Whilst we are actually waiting for this match to start as well, Ragnarok versus Rogue has just begun on laptop 2 here for Todd, and he's already pointed out a slight anomaly.
I was looking at the production tab, and I'm like, you know what? For once, I'm not looking at the supply. I pick up on something. Well, actually, supply was as well. He wasn't making a drone in the start, so we got a quick pull against a Rogue who doesn't have a pull started yet, so he's delaying that quite a bit. If he was to go for Extractor now, it looks like he might drop down the pool.
We can stay in this for a little bit, to be honest.
Let's. It's your show, Katowice. You can do whatever you want.
I can do whatever I damn well please, Todd. Good job, you keep going.
So he goes for the Extractor now. Oh my god, the Lynx are only on the way. Kev, what do you think?
I think this is still alright, because Ragnarok didn't take a gas behind this.
Okay, so Rogue basically already lost.
Oh, okay.
It's all right. It's all right.
Okay.
Right?
It's all right, Kev. Don't worry.
This changes things slightly, but there are still ways you can deal with this. I mean, this build was very popular on Lost and Found for quite some time because there was a perfect position for your spine crawlers. It's obviously very important that Rogue spots this as quickly as possible. He is not going to.
He's going
Wait, where's that spine crawler? The spine crawler is already being built. How? What? How is what? Oh my god, how did he do that?
Oh, he made a hatch?
He made a hatch and he cancelled it and he built a spine. I have never seen that. I have literally never seen anyone do this. That's actually mental.
I've seen it a few times, actually.
And like there's
Recently.
just no
Like
vision.
in a spine crawler rush?
Yeah.
Rogue has no idea.
This is so sick.
But then it got found and then it got cancelled. So
And
it
now
didn't
you
really
know-
work
Oh
out
my
well.
god. Okay, now it's really bad for Rogue.
Oh, this is so sick.
Say hello to my little friends.
Wow, that's so cool. He built a hedge, cancelled it, built a
I mean, you
spine.
can do this all you want. Like,
I think Rogue's gonna have to give up the main and just try to defend on the low ground.
But it's only drones.
yeah, there's already so many. Oh my god,
Oh,
he's
there's
in
a spine building as well.
He's in enemy territory everywhere.
I'm so glad we got in this game.
I'll just yeah. So am I. That's actually
brilliant.
insane. Like drones are gonna
Oh
start
my
to die
goodness.
left and right, and just Rogue is gonna lose so much. He's only got one queen on the way as well.
Rogue is very dead. Like Rogue is ultra
It's gonna be
dead.
alright, right? That's what you said.
I mean, I thought he was just gonna open up Gasless, make some links, apply some pressure, and expand behind it. Ragnarok
Oh, wow.
still undefeated at this point now.
Yeah.
He's still.
Look at him. He's ecstatic. He's like,
Rogue is
oh
not
my
so happy.
god. My face when the day's not going so well. In those
Hello, darkness,
EVZs.
smile.
Rogue is gonna be very upset in the next game. Very upset. You gotta be careful when you piss off someone like Rogue. It's like probably the last Zerg in the world I want to piss off.
That was brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm so glad we
I'm
got
so,
it.
yeah, so happy we got that. I was like, wait a second.
Amazing that he can do that, building the hatch just when the overlords are out of vision, and then cancel
Yeah.
the hatch and then
Pretty
build the
amazing.
spine. I mean, that build is always very difficult to defend, but you know, some of these world-class Zerg players like Rogue, obviously, they're excellent in buying time with drilling the drones and then waiting for their own Zerglings,
Yeah.
and often their own defensive spine crawlers. But that entire dynamic changes if one spine crawler is already done, whether it has half HP or not. That doesn't matter. There's a spine right on top of your
Yep.
drones. That's actually pretty sick.
It's funny because you think back to even those moments where Zergs would block with hatcheries and then throw down an evolution chamber. It's like, that's a split-second thing because the creep recedes. But spine crawl is actually even easier, technically, because the creep doesn't need to recede as much.
But you have to time it so well because obviously there's overlords normally floating around.
course.
So it's like you have to wait until the overlords are gone.
Yeah.
Well done. Ragnarok is cheeky, and man, he's on fire. He went
Yeah.
6-0 in the open bracket, 2-0 versus GuMiho in 2 very good games once again.
And after a win like that, it looks like he's having a right time. He was loving life just after that.
That would be
win.
a fantastic start here for him. Like, and not many people, I think, would have even predicted him to make the round of 24. So for him to start the day like this, one of the biggest upsets, I guess we could say, so far in the tournaments.
Apart from Jeff. Let's give Jeff it for Jeff's sake, I
Well,
suppose.
I mean, I think coming into this tournament, Jeff was also not really talking about Ragnarok on the arrival date. But after he watched him play, he's like, I'm really impressed.
Yeah.
And so far, he's just continuing that. Awesome for System Gaming as well, because most of their success always came from GuMiho. And now it's
Correct.
Ragnarok stepping up for them. So that's really cool.
Yeah, really nice to see. And you will eventually have Cyril versus Solar over there as well.
I'm in it already, but James, I'm going to disappoint you. No hidden spine crawlers in the main base. No 12 points. A really boring ZVZ. So, well, no, I'm kidding. It just started. We're a minute in. There's nothing to show.
All right, so we're just waiting a few more moments here before we get INnoVation and GuMiho ready to go into the game. Talk to me about TVT, kind of what you've seen from TVT recently. I've not been as well versed on what's going on in the current matchup. Any thoughts?
Yeah, TVT is like that one matchup that has the potential of the time to be the best mirror, right?
Can
For some
be, yeah,
time it
yeah.
wasn't. It was just about like, you know, whoever gets the Hellions or they play aggressive in the start and whoever loses the most SCV, I guess, kind of dies right after. But these players have reached a level where they're so good defensively that a lot of the time you're not going to be seeing people die very early on, and then we get into longer games. We get to see those big macro games where they go up to 3-4 bases. It's like a chess match in 4D, tanks, marines, all over the place, sieging, doom drops, everything. So I hope this is what we see here from these two. Maybe a little bit of mech as well. There's that X factor in the matchup where they both excel at mech too.
I'm just getting an update here from Rotterdam that we have something to potentially look at when it comes to
yeah,
Solar
maybe in
Solar.
like 20 seconds, but Solar
20
is...
seconds?
Yeah, but Solar is most likely going for a pretty big all-in.
Okay.
I just want to say that I agree with everything that Todd said about TVT. It can be beautiful. I think Todd just forgot to add one thing. Ravens. That's pretty much it right now. You drop interference matrix and you can potentially do a lot of good stuff in TVT. That's the most important unit. But yeah, if you guys want, we can maybe jump to my lap. I don't know if the TVT is ready or not. Obviously, I don't want to.
I've not heard any words.
Obviously
so you
not.
Have at it, Rotterdam.
All right. So Solar went for an incredibly quick lair, guys. It was like a 2-minute sharp lair. Now, obviously, Sero is scouting. Sero, of course, is our blue Zerg player, spawning in the right bottom side. Now, Solar does have a... Is he doing... Okay.
Nidus.
Yeah. I mean, with a lair this fast, it was kind of the only option because there's nothing else. I think this is a fake almost.
Yeah, Cyril's trying to scout.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you see that? So Cyril scouts the evolution chamber, guys, and this evolution chamber starts wiggling the moment that Solar fires up +1. So
he's getting his links right now. Yeah. He almost as if he knows. Yeah. Oh, he almost sneaked in.
Yeah, but he saw that the Evo chamber is not researching anymore. At least if Cyril's paying attention. Cyril's not droning.
Roach was late, but if he starts making a lot of them now, he might be okay.
Yeah, I mean, Cyril, I don't think you can really say he has over-drones, right? Look at the links. Do you think Cyril's aware of this, Todd? Do you think he's aware of it?
Roddy jumped when he said it.
But it's got a billion armor whilst it's not
man, the links just do no damage.
The Queen needs to attack it as well.
Oh.
You need something with more punch, right? Because it's got so much armor when it's burrowed.
But there's not that much energy, I guess, for Solar, but enough to keep these Nidus alive. So Cyril's gonna have to buy some time. He has got a lot of... Cyril has a lot of Zerglings out already,
he's trying to delay the fight for as long as possible. Now he goes for the surround. He's got roaches on the way. 6 surrounds.
He gets the full 360. One of the queens on the south side is going to go down. And of course, it's all about the roaches for Cyril. Oh my goodness, Cyril is shutting this down.
Don't you ever Nidus me, nerd.
It's not about Nidus. Don't you ever try to fool me, man? Like, you know, just fool me once. No, nobody fools me once. I'm Cyril.
There you go.
Saying GG. Just like that, Cyril wins against Solar as well.
Great stuff by Cyril. And with that, gentlemen, we are ready. So Cyril currently 1-up. We have Ragnarok 1-up as well. The perfect timing as we're ready to head over to our TVT. So INnoVation goes up against GuMiho.
Hello, there we go. After starting off with 2 BlizzCon champions going at it, we are now down to 2 GSL champions going at it. It's a Terran versus Terran. Please welcome, it is GuMiho and INnoVation.
Ben, of course.
Now
there we are. We did it.
Now I can hear you, yeah.
Ah, we did it. We have got ourselves a TVT, ladies and gentlemen, between INnoVation and GuMiho. And what better way to cast this one than to have the 2 Terrans get it done? DeMuslim, thoughts on this series?
Absolutely, Maynard. The guys at the desk rounded up really well, actually. I had no idea that these guys were so close in games. They have played 100 maps in their career just against one another, and it is 51-49 in favor of GuMiho. That is something I didn't expect, actually.
Yeah, I mean, INnoVation seems like the guy that would normally be favored here. But historically, they've certainly been very, very close. I still kind of favor INnoVation quite a bit. He's been looking extremely good in these qualifiers for Intel Extreme Masters, for GSL as well. Very, very good games from him. And GuMiho, managing to get his way into the round 24 was also something I honestly didn't really expect, but that's my bad. You should never sleep on the Gumi God.
Absolutely not. And if GuMiho has a matchup that I know him for, it is his TVT, actually. Growing up in Korea, you have to be good at TVT. There's been so many Terrans, the greatest of all time in Korea. And GuMiho, he actually kind of won a GSL once upon a time. I do believe he knocked out INnoVation during his run to the finals there too. But yeah, 51 and 49 against one another. We're lucky to be here, Maynard. These guys, they're both 0-1 down so far in their groups as well. GuMiho losing to Ragnarok 2-0. INnoVation losing to Solar 1-2. It's so important now that you have to win all these games because it doesn't get easier. Rogue and Serral also in the group. This group's mental, mate.
What's a Terran got to do to get a win at this tournament?
Terran in 2019, lol.
Well, you know what? The good thing about a TVT is that at least one of these Terrans is going to win this series. And in all seriousness, guys, we're just memeing here at the desk. It is early stages in this group. I would be shocked to not see INnoVation come out of it, at least in third place. Like, yes, you know, Rogue is scary, but he's having a rough start. Serral is an absolute monster. And if he doesn't come out this group first, I would be just as shocked as not seeing INnoVation leave it at all.
After Maro's early exit from the tournament, the Terran hopes are on this man here, INnoVation. And, oh, rather, here he is, spawning in the southeast side of Kairos Junction. It is INnoVation. Phenomenal player, also known as the Machine.
That's right. He was the AI before Alpha Star. He's the hipster AI. In the top left here, from SciStalk Gaming, it is GuMiho. INnoVation represented by Team Reciprocity. Brand new team picking up StarCraft, which means they're a smart team. Right. Getting amongst it in 2019.
And GuMiho, SciStorm Gaming. Now, Todd kind of talked about it on the desk, right? TVT has kind of been the best mirror matchup of all time in StarCraft II, and it's only got better in Legacy of the Void. It just became faster, less stale. These tank lines no longer impenetrable. The Raven came into the fray, as Roddy talked about as well. Lots of different dynamics in this matchup. Already we see a slight diversity in their play. So INnoVation in the southeast side going for double gas. Now, this is very indicative of I want to be safe. I don't want to lose to any kind of proxy builds, which are very common in this matchup. You see Mara vs TY in the GSL finals. But also, if you do play against an expansion build, which GuMiho is going for, you have to pile on the pressure because you will be a little bit behind economically.
Certainly. So GuMiho is going for a barracks, then gas, which means a Reaper fast expand. This means that you're not going to have many units in the early game and also a slower factory. But that means that, of course, your economy is going to be further ahead. Your natural command center is going to be further ahead. And you nailed it, Ben. The INnoVation here with his double gas opener is going to get several Reapers, probably a couple Hellions, head across the map and try and just do tons of damage here at this natural, maybe pick off some of those important units.
There's already something very weird in this match, though. So normally when you expand, you go for an SCV scout because you've just made yourself more vulnerable. You've done the big thing in StarCraft II. If you expand, you just widen yourself up to more attacks. But he didn't scout at all with an SCV. Whereas INnoVation going for the safe build also scouted with an SCV. So right now, GuMiho has no idea what's going on INnoVation's side of the map. He has no idea it's a double gas, and given the fact that he did scout with the SCV too, he showed that SCV, GuMiho's probably thinking he's against an expansion build, but he thinks he got away with it a little bit greedier than his opponent.
INnoVation's Reaver has this ledge here on Kairos Junction to be able to jump into the main base if he wants to get up there and see the production of GuMiho. At the moment, he's just keeping it alive, still producing the second Reaper, and the Hellion back at home as double gas openers tend to do. GuMiho catching this Reaper, though. He's winning this Reaper war.
Absolutely, Maynard, and this is quite a big deal. Oh, the grenade did not get to keep it alive. And granted, the INnoVation is going for a second Reaper, even a third Reaper at this point in time. Losing a Reaper at this point, that's quite problematic. And GuMiho, he got away with the early, or not scouting at all, so he's ahead in that department, but also getting the Reaper kill. That's as good a start as you're going to get.
Yeah, it makes you feel so confident to be able to keep that economy up now that the bunker is up. You can't get that Hellion and Reaper in there, you know, realistically without losing one of them or a lot of hit points and then losing them to dive in there and pick off those SCVs. So he is getting away with this greedy opening. Definitely GuMiho slightly ahead in the early stages of this game so far.
Now, making this Hellion just assist this Reaper. You don't want those two Reapers popping into your main, so that's just for safety precautions. The fact that he got away with the bunker as well on the low ground, the only information that INnoVation really got from that was, okay, you made a Marine before you made a reactor, as he only got one shot from the bunker. INnoVation opting for most likely Ravens and Ravens on both sides. This unit, Very different to how it used to be. It got a new spell, Interference Matrix.
Tell me about Interference Matrix.
Well, Maynard, that's it can be used on a lot of units, but what it basically does is render a unit incapable of doing anything. So if you use that on a siege tank, it no longer can shoot back at you. So that's one of the main things that changed in TVT. Those tank lines, you can absolutely bust through them because you just render them inactive.
Yeah, certainly. Could also lock down Cyclones and other Ravens as well, which is a little bit interesting.
Ooh, Maynard, already 4 gases for innovation, so this is very indicative of some
mech, usually.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, what else are you going to spend the gas on at this point? What's this add-on on the barracks as well? That's a reactor. I wouldn't be surprised if we have some kind of crazy push, but then a mech follow-up from innovation.
Yeah, and with the mech, gas is key. So you actually don't really need to worry about a high SCV count or that much mineral mining. GuMiho is going to be going bio-tank here, which is a lot more standard in TVT. But mech is definitely coming back. We are seeing that second factory here from innovation.
Does either player have a third CC on the map? It doesn't look like they're going for it yet, right?
No, not yet.
No third CC, so this is already a very different meta than what I'm used to over in Europe. So both players getting these Ravens out. Did GuMiho stop at 1 Raven? Because that's a big deal, actually. Ravens, Blake, yes, he stopped at 1. So if you can just say you have an extra Raven over your opponent. In fact, the fact that he's going for 3 factory before a third CC as well, that is really crazy. By the way, just throwing a Reaper mine there just to disrupt the gas mining, but seeing the 2 gases like that, that is not what innovation wanted to reveal, but GuMiho's going to know something's up, and this is a beautiful scout. So innovation gets to see that, yes, he's going for 2 base bio, but no greedy play out of either one of them. That's really strange, yeah.
It is. Maybe both players don't know each other that well. I'm sure they hit each other all the time in Korea, but it is kind of indicative of 2 players that are afraid of each other.
Well, it's not as if they haven't played 100 maps against each other in their series or in their lives, you know. But
so weird.
So one thing that is really dominant about this mech build, it becomes a 2 base all-in. This isn't a macro build, and going for a third on location, that's a little ballsy by GuMiho. As we see, Vikings in production, tanks in production, Hellions in production for innovation, just making all the basic mech units. But one massive thing is he has 2 Ravens here. So if GuMiho gets caught with his pants down, innovation could get a really good siege position, because if you stim before combat shield is done, tanks actually one-shot Marines, which makes this mech push extremely strong. And innovation, he's got all the way across the map here without being spotted whatsoever.
Well, GuMiho is about to show off his army to this floating barracks here of innovation, and now innovation can either intercept the army of GuMiho, maybe set up some tanks for an ambush, or he can commit to the natural. Looks like he's going to go for the interception.
This is the real question here. What does he do with this? We see back at home, he does have quite a big army here. So he wants to meet up with his reinforcements. He didn't want to push. He maybe was very threatened by the idea of GuMiho roaming the middle of the map and stranding an army and just buying time, but then smashing it. So innovation, he's met it with the rest. He knows where his opponent is, and this is a scary army now by Inno.
Both players have scanned each other. They see the movements of the armies. See this tank rally here from GuMiho. Stim is done. Combat shield not done just yet, though, and the tanks of innovation are sieging up.
I can't believe GuMiho's running into this, but here we see the interference matrix on quite a few tanks, so GuMiho just getting kind of butchered here, but honestly butchering on both sides.
Both players took a big hit to each other's army supply there. Innovation losing that last tank has actually lost the tank advantage here against GuMiho. And it looks like the trade's going better for the Bio Terran.
Absolutely. That losing all those tanks there, and despite being able to get the siege up first, those were really nice interference matrices by GuMiho, rendering those tanks useless.
Yeah, it was very nicely done. And interesting as well, because he had the Raven disadvantage. So you would have expected the shutdowns, the spell usage of innovation to be a little bit more powerful there. Innovation. So this means that GuMiho's got a little bit of map control. He's got some movement to be able to get towards the natural of innovation, and maybe even start sieging the mineral line from behind the behind that sort of base ledge there.
What an amazing spot for GuMiho, though. He's got his third base up now. He won the fight in the middle. He was meant to lose that fight against an all-in build by Inno. Inno opting, he has to remake his barracks. He's making his third base again. Not having that barracks meant he couldn't add on extra factories. He couldn't make an orbital even if he wanted to. This is a really good spot for GuMiho, and the fact that he's got such good map control, you can see all this red on the map right now, by the way. Even scout or scanning for the other third, he's like, hey man, I'm more ahead than I thought, even using a scan here for the army too, so knows exactly what he's up against here.
66 SCVs against the 51 here, and while SCVs aren't super important when you're going for mech, gas income is, and he doesn't have a third base worth of gas income. Look at the gas bank for innovation. He's spending it all on these 3 factories worth of production. You can't afford those 5 factories when you're in that comfortable production stage for mech, but...
By the way, super smart by GuMiho. He had a unit on the map there that got killed by the army, just a Marine, a scouting Marine, but now he goes in for the drop because he assumes that army's out on the map somewhere, but INnoVation, not buying the bait yet, just being calm, being smooth. One great thing about mech in TVT, it can get you back into the game.
Certainly can. You generally have not only the air advantage, but the tank advantage as well, which makes a big, big difference in those ground battles.
Look how many scans going out. Information is power in StarCraft II, and especially in TVT. GuMiho playing calm, collected. He kind of wants to bait a fight in the middle here. The one that he wants to go well, because he has that drop waiting on the right side of the map in 3 medevacs, and if they get into the back of a mineral line, man, you're in trouble.
And they're going for it. Looks like INnoVation's army is out of position here. It's down by that third base, setting up the siege line.
Yeah, he scanned Maynard and seeing the whole army there. No anti-air in the back of the natural. Just going to land. In fact, he's spreading out between the bases here.
Well, he's going to lose that low ground tank, but the high ground tanks are even more deadly. They're on top of a few of the production facilities here for INnoVation, giving GuMiho the higher ground. And while these Liberators will eventually be able to deal with it, this drop of INnoVation very, very annoying. Or drop of GuMiho very, very annoying. And he's coming in through the natural.
And that is a lot of GuMiho just running. Look at these tanks as well, beautifully placed. This slow-moving army of INnoVation has to march back to the natural. Doesn't have vision though, so maybe he's able to clean up those tanks, but no. INnoVation, 0-1 down against the Towel Terran himself. He still looks like he's in a game there, smashing his keyboard away.
Well, he's just farming a little bit of XP, you know. You're killing a few more units, getting his account up to level 50. It's very, very important.
Mate, this is INnoVation 0-1 down. He lost to Solar, 0-1 down against GuMiho. This is not looking good for him, and I don't even think he played bad that game. I think GuMiho just played amazingly well. Something a little unorthodox there, going for a 2-base mech push in TVT. It is very strong, but the fact that GuMiho went for a 2-base bio play with a delayed third, that is also weird. It's almost as if GuMiho sensed it, or maybe he saw something. These guys are so high level. You can make, and INnoVation is kind of, I'm getting so sidetracked. INnoVation is kind of robotic, right? Like, he has had that reputation that he kind of sticks with the style, so maybe he has ran into this on the ladder. He's like, yeah, he beat me with this quite a few times, you know. I won't let it happen again. And he went for such a beautiful counter, honestly.
Yeah, he played him like a fiddle. Very nicely done there for GuMiho. I think a lot of the stories when we look at these players and some of the surprising results, a lot of the people are like, oh, that means that player is not very good right now. But the real story is his opponents have just gotten a lot better than we expected. GuMiho is playing like an absolute monster. Ragnarok went Super Saiyan at some point.
Yeah, I mean, the last game I saw of Ragnarok in the bracket where, you know, in fact, it was Keen, right, in CVT. He demolished Keen. In the first game, he lost like 19 drones to Keen and still got back into the game. It was very impressive. And the fact that he just comes straight into this group, goes 2-0 against GuMiho, so it's not that he was playing like bad Terrans. Keen actually played a really phenomenal game too. Then he was 1-0 up against Rogue. By the way, that cheeky smile after spine rushing, you know, a former BlizzCon champion, that was beautiful by Ragnarok.
I was really sick of production, actually. We saw the yin and yang of StarCraft II with Ragnarok laughing about getting a really cheeky win and Rogue just looking extremely unimpressed.
Absolutely. It's also nice to see that strategy work out, because that was Ragnarok doing that against Scarlet in GSL, and it just looked absolutely silly, but it's nice to know now that how it's meant to look.
Certainly. Well, we're just about ready for game number 2 here. Loving the crowd, loving the stage. Everything's looking beautiful here.
Oh, I love that he's brought a red towel too. If you're wondering why he does that, he does get sweaty hands. StarCraft makes me get a little cold and nervous, but GuMiho gets all fired up, and he actually plays with it on top of his mouse.
Yeah, which is insane to me, because I would have thought that maybe the towel would get under the mouse at some point, but nope.
Doesn't affect him whatsoever. So if you are out there suffering with sweaty hands, you can do it too.
You can be Towel Terran 2.0. Believe in yourself.
Going on ahead in this series, though, so INnoVation, obviously, he saw an opponent that took an expansion that didn't SCV scout. That has to be going through his mind, and obviously, the blind counter to that, you can't reactively beat it. But going into the next few games, we might see Proxy 2-Rexes come out with the Reaper builds. It's a very dominant build in TVT, and it's a perfect counter to builds like that. So the fact that GuMiho went for that, very, very risky, but when your tournament life is on the line, this is the time to bring out the big risky plays.
Certainly is. Now let's see if this guy in the top right can put a point on the board. Make some noise for Team Reciprocity's INnoVation!
And spawning over in the southwest side as our Red Terran, it is Psystorm Gaming's GuMiho. Honestly, a very smart build by GuMiho in that first game. Delaying the third base, that's something I don't regularly see. Only going for one Raven too, but that one Raven, we saw how well that was utilized. I think innoVation actually used an anti-armor missile, by the way, on the bio, which doesn't really help the mech units that much. I think he made a little bit of an error in judgment there. Just because if your tanks are already one-shotting Stim Marines, then -3 armor doesn't really help at all against that. So maybe prioritizing interference matrices on the tanks, the turrets would have been pretty good. But honestly, the way that GuMiho roamed around, shocked around the map, that was very impressive by him.
An impressive game in general. Actually, speaking of GuMiho and innoVation, we are going into this game with both players doing mirrored builds here. Double gas opening, so GuMiho not going for that greedier one gas Reaper fast expand, going for the safer, faster factory safety option.
This scout, again, by innoVation, I don't know if this is because he's scared of GuMiho, if he's scared of TVT about the options, because he is opting for the safest build in TVT, which is the double gas opening, meaning that you get out Reapers and Hellions very early, so the Proxy 2-Rexes don't really deal that much damage. But also, if you do see that your opponent's going for the same build, the only information that I think you can get from this is faking out your opponent and making him think that you're expanding, because otherwise you're just a little bit behind in minerals.
Once again, innoVation opting for the SCV scout while GuMiho is just leaving his SCV at home. It's a small little difference there, so just one worker's worth of mining. This rally point's interesting. Trying to circumnavigate the Reaper of GuMiho, I guess.
I think also potentially just looking for a proxy starport.
Also, yeah.
Those Liberators can come into your mineral line, and even though you get a Cyclone, they do delay mining. And yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. GuMiho, it's a very prevalent build in TVT that you do proxy a starport and head straight to the main. The Reaper duel at the start of the game, and yet again, innoVation coming out ahead, but GuMiho, he knows it, and he gets out of there.
He's only intercepted here.
Oh, this is really big, actually. Got him. Wow, so the tables have turned. And yeah, you saw the pain on GuMiho's face. May not look like much, but the fact that you cannot scout anymore, you don't get to see an expansion going up, you don't get to see if it's a starport kind of play, that's actually a big deal.
It is. You lose your map vision. You basically just have to sit at home because you know that your opponent has the Reaper advantage, and if you move out again with another Reaper to get that scout information, it's almost certainly dead. innoVation comes into that natural with the Reaper advantage with that Hellion as well, but GuMiho has double Hellion here. Shouldn't have his CC delayed, I'd hope.
Absolutely not. And after seeing it, he actually waited for the SCV to pop out onto the other side, not running in, not exposing himself, and he gets away without really taking too much damage whatsoever. Those Reapers do regenerate, but I love the way that he actually waited for the RNG of the SCV to pop out onto the more vulnerable side.
Clever, clever, clever.
Oh, but he did win the Reaper fight earlier, so he is going for it here.
He's diving over that grenade. It looks like innoVation's already picked off another Reaper. GuMiho has triple Hellion, which is a little bit tough to deal with just a few Reapers. He's got his natural up, and innoVation's same sort of deal back at home, but his orbital's a little bit slower.
So going for 3 Hellions is rather unorthodox, because you really want to get that tech lab on the factory and get the Cyclones out, get ready to make tanks and things like that. But the fact that he lost the Reaper earlier, he knew he could be vulnerable to a push like innoVation just tried, so added on that extra Hellion. So GuMiho's actually making a lot of the right moves, considering things went a little bit poorly with his first Reaper. This is sneaky.
Yeah, this is actually quite deadly. 3 Reapers into that mineral line. GuMiho reacts as quickly as he can, but he's certainly going to lose some SCVs, and not only that, he has also been scouted. 4 SCVs.
That juggling of the units there allowed his Reapers to stay alive for just a little bit longer, getting a full scout and 4 extra SCV kills. I guess one thing that's really pivotal there too, he got to see the starport, no Banshee upgrade being made. He knows that this is a totally standard TVT. By the way, this is more the build that I was used to seeing from innoVation. You get a very quick third gas, you get double Ravens out. It's very safe and getting up a third CC.
He's got a Cyclone advantage here with the Hellions coming forward. The Hellions don't really help a whole lot against these Cyclones. GuMiho decides the better part of Valor is to pull out. And this Raven of innoVation looks like it might be going for a bit of worker harassment here, heading down to the bottom end of the map.
I guess given that he knows he's got nothing to really worry about and he forced out that extra Hellion from GuMiho, also has the extra Cyclones, right? Oh, denying vision here.
Nice.
This is big. Getting the Raven in. This is a nice scouting depot, so he can't stay for too long. As if there was a Cyclone here, he would be thwarted quite easily, but just denying mining. And I mean, this is good. This is what you want, denying the gas especially.
Yeah, nice little edges here for innoVation. innoVation's been playing this one very beautifully. He's been denying the scouting of GuMiho while doing his own and finding damage as well.
Did innoVation see the tech lab on the factory upgrading there? Let's have a look. He did. Okay. So that is very indicative, like whether that's a ploy or not by his opponent here, but GuMiho's going to be playing mech, boys.
Certainly is. And Innovation's
oh,
going to be playing Stim. Raven's back. How you doing, mate? Denying more main time.
Reversal. And by the way, we forgot to mention, these are two players that are very comfortable with both styles, Bio and Mech. So the fact that they're both mixing it up, mixing and matching, it's beautiful to see StarCraft like this.
Certainly is. And we got GuMiho going up that ramp, having a look here. But Innovation has those tanks, and he has a pretty solid defense setup. There's a lot of energy on these Ravens for GuMiho. Maybe, man, I don't know if you can make anything happen here, though, with Innovation's own Raven.
That's a very solid defense setup for Innovation. Has got his third. Turning into an orbital, I believe, or at least might be floating over to the third location. But GuMiho played very aggressive with his expansion, and rightly so, because he's the one with map control. He is kind of diving in here. By the way, good lock-ons by Innovation. They actually locked on the Cyclones, whereas GuMiho's locked on the Marines, so good trade for Innovation. But Magfield Accelerator is coming online. That's when these guys, these Cyclones, deal a lot of extra damage for GuMiho.
Yeah, they're quite deadly. They can pick off anything very, very quickly. There's those red lines for those Cyclones showing off that upgrade. He's looking for that little bit of an edge here. This is a nice ledge for those Ravens to drop some auto turrets and try and, go tit for tat here, getting some SCV damage of his own.
A bit of a late pull by Innovation. Does lose quite a few SCVs, but overall, a decent attack by GuMiho. You don't really want to lose much energy. Oh, he's actually coming in for more here, isn't he?
Okay, well, he locked on the auto turret, not the Raven.
I think he tried to bait him down. So his Cyclones get shots off, and his Cyclones do get shots off. Really good shots off, too. So nice trades by GuMiho. That's one of the beautiful things about New Repugnancy, how you can abuse that natural mineral line as there is that low ground behind it. And that was just nice map abuse by GuMiho.
Yeah, very nicely done. That natural low ground is very, very scary. You see the upgrades coming up first for Innovation. Doesn't look like armories are up yet for GuMiho. In fact, as I mentioned that, he just starts them now. So, I mean, the upgrades for Mech aren't the hugest of deals. I guess you have your more powerful army. It's more about the tank count and the Viking count and that sort of thing. 1-1 Bio is still going to find a tough time going toe-to-toe against a good tank count.
So Mech upgrades, they don't become super pivotal. Obviously, if you're taking less damage from Marines, it's an important thing. But the tank upgrades, until you get +2, that's when you can actually one-shot Stim Marines with combat shield. So it takes a while for those upgrades from Mech to really flourish in the Mech versus Bio matchup.
And GuMiho has been known as the Mech god. Innovation. He's always screamed Bio tank to me. You mentioned that he's actually very, very good at Mech, but Innovation to me has always been Mr. Marines and tanks.
I just remember that series of him against Tasia on what was that old map where there's like Doom drops everywhere? It was Tasia playing Bio, Innovation playing Mech, like one of the craziest TVTs in my life. But Innovation is definitely a guy that can play everything. But you're right, those parade pushers in TVZ, that's what he's really known for in my eyes.
Yeah. Well, we got that 1-1 finishing up for the Bio here of Innovation. 1-1 just starting for GuMiho, and he's getting that 4th CC near the 3rd. The sensor towers on the minimap here offering a lot of detection for GuMiho. He's going to be able to react as quickly as possible. He's just turtling up pretty heavily here, just using these 3 Cyclones or a handful of Cyclones for anything on the map, but it just seems like GuMiho is going to be so passive for a while.
Ooh, Innovation opting for air upgrades already. So I was wondering, what is the next stage of the game going to be for both these players? GuMiho most likely just going to be making more Mech, probably going to be trying to get air control, using these Cyclones, trying to get a bit of map control, but Innovation's the one that can move out now. So Innovation getting good Bio upgrades, 4th CC on the way, and the air upgrades. How many starports are going to go down? Is he going to make Liberators? Is he going to make Ravens? We'll see. But this is hopefully going to be textbook top level Bio against Mech here.
It's gearing up for it.
Yeah.
And the real tug of war when you're up against Mech as a Bio player is trying to win the air battle. You have a few options, like do I go insane 500 APM, drop everywhere, non-stop aggression with my Bio, or do I go into the later stages of the game and try and win the air battle by getting a big ball of Vikings, getting a big ball of Liberators, and just barrel through that tank line of the Mech opponent.
So one advantage of Mech against Bio is that you don't have to make the medevacs, at least not early on until you start Hellbat dropping in the army. So GuMiho has already got a significant Viking number. Innovation, on the other hand, had to make a few medevacs, though his Viking number hasn't been slacking. So Innovation was thinking many moves ahead. He knew the late game was coming in this kind of situation, and he was ready to give it to GuMiho. That was very nice lock-ons, by the way. Even though those Cyclones died, they do become rather useless late game just because they're low health and lower utility, but getting what he can. And here, nice pick off by Inno.
It looks like GuMiho shift-clicked some Hellions out there for harassment.
By the way, look how fast INnoVation's expanding now. It was GuMiho that took a much faster third on location, but now INnoVation's just like, you know what, I can get away with it, even making an orbital as his fourth, too.
Well, that's the thing. When you're a mech player, you are generally so passive that INnoVation feels like he can... He's not even single expanding, he's double expanding here. He's going to take the CC at the front as well. We just saw the shadow of that outline and another command center at the front here for INnoVation. He's kind of like... It's kind of like playing against a total Terran when you're a Zerg. Just take the map, hatcheries everywhere.
I feel this is one of the scariest things, though. You know, when you go up against INnoVation, and then he starts getting out of control, because the longer the game goes, he doesn't stop. He is in Gear 6 all the time when it comes to macro. He's up to 82 workers right now. He's getting a second armory for upgrades too, multiple CCs. In fact, this is fully fledged macro from both of them. Also, many CCs coming down from GuMiho, starports, turrets, multiple upgrades coming out for their air. This is gearing up for a big, big air army. I wouldn't be surprised if we see BCs at some point in this game, which would be beautiful.
Yeah, get your feet up, get your warm cups. It is going to go into the late game, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, nice little hellbat here from GuMiho. Just runs through that tank fire, does a bit of damage, but INnoVation just unsieges and manages to take that hellbat out. These Hellions going for a bit of a run by, but minimal SCV damage.
Nice attempts at harass. Hellions, they cost nothing. Gas is going to be the major income in this game.
Ooh.
And here we have a bit of a skirmish, and that is a lot of interference matrices from GuMiho, also pushing in with his tanks a little bit.
But the fight is in the sky, and INnoVation managed to get a nice anti-armor missile on the cluster of Vikings from GuMiho, which gives him this room to get those Liberators forward and start shooting down these tanks.
Oh, it looks like INnoVation's really handing it to GuMiho here. It doesn't look like INnoVation wants this to go on for much longer. And the fact that he's got so many expansions behind this too, this is incredible play. Very patient too. Look how he's pushing these Liberators here.
He's showing a Bio versus Mech masterclass. INnoVation managing to win the air battle means that these Liberators got free reign. And while these turrets do help out with the Vikings, INnoVation is so good at controlling his air army. And this Thor from GuMiho, while it could actually tip the scales in his favor, it's so hard to get anywhere near these Vikings now that there's these Liberators and tank coverage and advanced ballistics.
Look at the Viking count difference, 24 Vikings to 10.
It's that triple starport production, baby.
This was INnoVation planning so massively ahead. He knew what he wanted to do 20 moves before.
Ouch.
Oh, those Thors.
He takes a lot of hit points on those Vikings. GuMiho decides the time is now. The Thor's doing sick damage to the Vikings, actually. But here comes INnoVation. Here's some Vikings I prepared earlier.
Absolutely. INnoVation doing every right move here. And this PF does fall. GuMiho back down to 3 bases. But those Thors were worth their weight in gold. They're taking down so many Vikings.
I love this from INnoVation while pressuring this base and doing tons of damage against GuMiho. He's going up to the north as well. GuMiho, does he have enough coverage to stop this bio attack? I mean, he knows it's there. Oh, he's got triple tank, but that's an orbital here, so he needs his army to come and help out.
GuMiho does see it though. The sensor tower gave away that there's something there. The scan confirms it. More Liberators joining the field for INnoVation. And right now, GuMiho kind of fighting for that air control. Both players max, so no more units can really join the field after a few moments here. So this is what they've got to work with in this matchup. GuMiho's still the one with multiple Ravens out on the field, though. That can definitely tilt the way of an air war.
Looks like GuMiho might have caught the air army of INnoVation coming back here. GuMiho's ground force is so huge. His tank supply quite high as well. Big shelling on the bio army there of INnoVation. Looks like GuMiho is also winning the air battle, crushing through the air army of INnoVation.
What happened to INnoVation's air lead? Was it the Thors earlier?
I think it was the Thors.
Now he's on the back foot. I mean, this is only one of INnoVation's like 8 bases right now that's going to be under assault pretty soon. But still, this is a really deadly push by GuMiho. Still only, by the way, 1 Thor remaining. That Thor is pretty pivotal in winning an air battle between these two, although only 6 Vikings on the way for INnoVation. He is struggling here.
Yeah, he's got 6 at the moment, going to go up to 11 shortly, which will be a little bit closer, but even with that, with those extra Vikings, GuMiho does still have the air advantage. Now, losing that base, like he mentioned, he has so many command centers that it doesn't actually hurt him that much. INnoVation being patient and replenishing his forces.
Both players remaxed in the blink of an eye, and both armies are pretty slow. But GuMiho, he's got his army out in the middle of the map, and INnoVation
is going for a flank.
Is he going for a flank? This could be crazy, Maynard.
Big step from INnoVation, catching GuMiho on siege. These tanks to the north are actually going to get burned down by these Marines and Marauders here from INnoVation. The Hellbats blocking on the bottom, though. The air army of GuMiho way too powerful. He wins that fight. INnoVation got through some of those tanks, but it wasn't enough.
The mech army is too powerful, Maynard. GuMiho just marching forward with so many tanks. Vikings, Liberators have joined the field too for GuMiho, so this army only gets stronger. And innoVation, his army, he's still kind of torn apart here. He's got an army out on the middle of the map, trying to get the reinforcements, doing a decent job, but it's so whittled down at this point.
Oh, when the mech player is in your natural, he is just moments away from getting on that production. In fact, if he seats up right here, he is in range of some of that production of innoVation. Takes out the tank at the orbital as well. innoVation trying to repair, but it's not going to be enough. The landed Vikings just getting out of dodge, but he's going to be able to take out these tanks in a second here. That Thor, again, doing more damage from the low ground, lands the Vikings for one last stand. innoVation bringing in Bio from the main base. He's lost 33 SCVs in the meaning of this as well.
Is GuMiho's doing it,
He's got it.
He's down to 60 supply here, is innoVation. His face hasn't changed, but here we see a little tilt to the head. Hellbats everywhere. 55 SCVs going down. This is the GuMiho of old, just harassing everywhere with his strong mech play. innoVation knows that he's in a rough spot. That is not the face of a happy man.
Definitely not. GuMiho showing that he can play Bio, that he can play mech, both of which being shown in this series, and both of which getting the better of innoVation, who is just bleeding resources and doesn't have much time left in this game at all. innoVation is closing the noose on well, GuMiho is closing this noose on innoVation. He's about to string him up, I think.
This is beautiful GuMiho play. GG, GuMiho takes it 2-0 against innoVation. And honestly, you just have to give super credit to GuMiho. He played a beautiful series there. He even lost his PF to that push there, but the Thors came in, he was very calm with them. The Thors stood just out of the liberation zone, but they got so many anti-air shots on those Vikings. He regained air control, and he just never, once he was ahead, he just stayed ahead. Beautiful by GuMiho.
Wonderful TVT masterclass from GuMiho here. A fun series. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, interview with GuMiho. We'll see you for more StarCraft soon.
After a ZVZ, it was a Terran versus Terran, and it's GuMiho that takes down innoVation. So first of all, congratulations, GuMiho. You were up against innoVation, a phenomenal Terran player. Were you surprised that it was a 2-0? 일단 축하드리고요. 정말 잘하는 테란 선수 이신영 상대였는데 이렇게 잘 풀릴 거라고 예상을 하셨나요?
태태전은 원래 약간 실수 싸움이라서 반반이라고 생각했고요. 첫 번째 판에 제가 빌드에서 좀 유리하게 가서 오늘 좀 잘 풀릴 수 있겠다 이렇게 생각했어요.
So he says when it comes to TVT, I really feel like it depends on who makes more mistakes. Coming into this, I didn't think it would be easy or anything like that. But in that first map, I really feel like I had such a great start because I had a much better build. And because of that, I was able to start with the win. And I want to talk about game number 2 because at a certain point, it felt like you were being pushed against the wall. But at one point, were you able to bring it back? 두 번째 경기에 대해서 물어보고 싶은데 한순간 불리할 수도 있었는데 어느 순간부터 다시 좋아졌어요. 그래서 두 번째 경기에 대해서 얘기해 주세요.
두 번째 판은 초반부터 조금 사신 하나 잃으면서 되게 좀 안 좋게 시작했는데 그래도 메카닉 후반전 좀 자신 있어서 계속 버티면 이길 수 있을 거라고 생각하고 버텼는데 제가 반가 바이킹 싸움을 실수하는 바람에 좀 위기가 왔었는데 이신영 선수가 거기서 바이킹을 흘리는 실수를 또 해서 제가 이길 수 있었던 것 같아요.
So he says in that second map, I wasn't a fan of how it started, especially because I lost my early Reaper, so was not a fan of that. That being said, I am really confident in my late game mech, so I just thought to myself, as long as I get to that stage, I think I can still do this. But then again, as we fought, I felt like I made a mistake when it came to my Raven control, but I feel like the game came back in my favor because after a point, INnoVation made a few mistakes, losing too many Vikings, and I feel like that was the momentum swinger that made me win that second map. And now moving forward, you're going to be playing Solar, a Zerg player in a very heavy Zerg group. How do you feel about your TVZ right now? 이제 다음 상대는 강민수 선수인데 지금 저그전에 대해서 어떻게 생각하세요?
확실한 건 좀 좋진 않은 것 같고 그리고 IEM 오기 전까지만 해도 연습을 되게 많이 한 상태라서 저그전이 되게 좀 잘 됐었는데 여기 비행기도 타고 막 여기서 연습하는데 좀 어려움을 겪으면서 좀 기본기 실수가 많아진 것 같아요. 그런 점이 좀 걱정이 돼요. 앞으로 저그전을 하는 데 있어서.
So he says, if I'm being honest, I'm not totally happy about it. Even before I came here, in terms of practice I was able to do back in Korea, I was feeling really good about it because I got a lot of practice done and I really felt like everything was working out. That being said, in the process of coming here, riding the plane, dealing with jet lag, and in terms of the practice conditions here, I feel like I lost a bit of the sort of practice and control that I had done back in Korea. So I can't say I'm 100% happy about that, but I'll do my very best. But for now, congratulations once again, GuMiho, Polaris. It's back to you guys.